Hey, Coach, you use a lot of basketball references with your team. What is it about that sport that you gravitate to?
It was my first love, so it's the game I probably know the best. So that's probably why I reference it the most. And I think that our guys gravitate towards that sport too. It's kind of the sport I would say in a locker room that they talk about the most. So I just like making those comparisons, and it's always fun to go back through different eras, of basketball, and for player comps and different styles of play. And I think that it's just an easier metaphor in an NFL locker room.
When was the last time you played organized basketball? What was
in high school? Yeah, okay. I had a good run with my college teammates at Dayton in intramurals. We kind of had a run on 3 straight championships together, but that was not, I wouldn't consider that organized, although it was competitive. Basketball was my first love, and that's where kind of my heart, always goes from a comparison to football.
Back to Belichick, how much of his path have you implemented, being a former defensive coordinator as he was? How much of his path have you implemented into your coaching style, if any?
I just think that when I've studied Bill, I see a complete coach. I see a guy that had a rich education starting with his dad, who was in scouting, and who was kind of a coach himself. And so you get into that scouting background of assessing players and teams, and I think he's got that background. It's such a strength of his. And then started out as a special teams coach in the league, so he's got that global perspective of special teams, and then how to put together a roster, back half of the roster, and then he partnered up with one of the great coaches in NFL history, with Bill Parcells, and was able to be a part of a lot of championship caliber teams. And I think that the thing that I don't think gets talked enough about Bill Parcells is that all his quarterbacks played really well. They all played really well for him. And I think Bill Belichick learned a lot from that about how you need to play with different styles of quarterbacks. And I think when he got further into his career, you can see that he's gotten his quarterbacks to play at extremely high level. He's an outstanding offensive coach. And I think that that's something he doesn't get enough credit for, is that he's an outstanding offensive coach and defensive coach and special teams coach. And that's why they've played the way they've played up there for so long, is because he's a complete coach. And I know that that's something that I'm trying to be. And I think that that's, if I had to say what's the biggest takeaway from him, is that he's a complete coach.
Hey, Coach, why is a community involvement initiative important to you? And do you encourage your players to get out there in the community and kind of share their knowledge, share themselves with the community?
Yeah, I think part of the special platform in the NFL is for these players to express themselves and what's important to them. These guys have certain mission statements that they're a part of that are important to them, and they have the platform to be able to help those initiatives in a big way, or the communities they come from, their families. I think it's really important for these players that they are able to do that. I think you have such a small window of time as a player, but you can take advantage of it in a big way that can set you up for the rest of your life. And so that's what we're trying to do, is give these guys every platform they have to take advantage of their time in the NFL, so they can affect the type of progress and change and impact the initiatives and the people that are important to them. And I think that's one of the special things about the NFL.